Full Circle Friday. We're gonna pull in the missus of the bunch. So let's go ahead and go to that screen. I want to welcome everybody to Full Circle Fridays. If you're here for the live, you know that we do our little setup in the beginning. So you get a chance to see the raw, uncut, live portion of us setting up. You get to see it all. Welcome to the Full Circle Friday. Aisha, glad to have you part of it.
Hey,
I can hear
thank
you
you.
well. Okay. I'm gonna turn your mic up just a little bit.
Okay.
We may have some more guests come in. As you saw, if you were here from the beginning portion of the setup, you saw T. Lori pop in. So she may be revisiting us. How you? How's everything going with you, Maya? Are you able to hear me? Okay.
Yeah,
Is it kind of crazy on your end?
just an echo.
Just an echo. Well, hopefully those out there in our viewers who's watching this don't get that echo.
Yeah.
Um,
I haven't
and
heard
if you do, it's just another show that we have shown, and we don't know what the hell we doing when it comes to this part.
Mm,
And our honesty and transparency shows through the show. Okay. So welcome y'all. I'm glad that y'all are here. For all that are here to check this out. Today's episode, we're actually talking about managing kids' stress and anxiety, the practical coping strategies, just giving some coping strategies and also um, just addressing some of the things that we encounter as parents. Because that's what we're here for. We want to give y'all, what we can. Let's quick throw out a quick disclaimer. We're not professionals when it comes to um, giving any advice as far as medical or anything like that. But we are parents, right? Uh, at least two of us on this live right now, and
right.
and we got our daughter, and in the background you may see our granddaughter over there pop in and out. But today it's a real relatable conversation between parents and the child or adult now, I would say. Just recognizing and understanding and doing our best to manage stress and anxiety. This here show has been slightly stressful. Just setting it up, y'all. So I'm trying to manage my stress and anxiety as well as we go through this. Um, Look, so once again, not experts. I'm just a dad with my daughter, sharing some personal experiences. So everyone, welcome back to Instructions Not Included. We're gonna start with a personal story of myself. As a kid, I did not uh, have these topics discussed with my parents. It was you do what I
Nor did I.
say, not what I do, but do what I say. Um, Stress and anxiety wasn't a thing 70s, 80s, 90s. Uh, I would say late 90s, maybe 2000s, maybe 2010, maybe. But when I was a kid growing up, no, it wasn't about you being stressed. So we are doing the best that we can as parents, providing tips for you guys that are parents to have that conversation with your kids. It's never too late to have that conversation. The conversation may be taken one way or another when you have it, but it's important to have it. So I'm inviting to the screen today my adult daughter. Uh, I sometimes refer to you as my child.
Well, I mean, I am. I'm still
You
your
are.
child,
You are.
just an adult now.
Yes. When
Young
you were
adult.
younger, um, Um, how did you usually show when stress? I mean, when stress or anxiety, uh, when you had it, or did you even realize it? What it was?
At the time, I don't think I realized it. What was that?
Oh,
Oh wow.
yeah, that's just letting you know that we have someone in the green room, and there she is. I had her
Auntie.
pop in
I'm
automatically.
back.
There it is. She's back. This is T Lori, y'all. So welcome T Lori to the live of our Full Circle Fridays. Eventually, if you see any other screens on your Full Circle Fridays, and I'm not sure if you ladies can see any other open screens. Can y'all see any like guest screens? You see two open slots?
I see
Yes.
You
two open.
okay. So eventually we would like to fill those open slots with parents who would love to discuss whatever our topic is of the day. And today's topic is once again managing kids' stress and anxiety and practical coping strategies. So having Amaya here, I was asking Amaya if you could just share with us and our audience what does stress and anxiety look like for you?
For me, particularly, I fidget when I get super anxious. Anything to take my mind off of the anxiety. I found a new way of coping with anxiety academically, turning like anxiousness into ideas for new um like projects and stuff.
Mm,
Stress, I find is a lot easier for me to cope with because for me it's just taking a break, like taking a step back and looking at everything and realizing it's not the end of the world, and that it will get done. Because for me, a lot of stress also comes from school because it's one of the biggest parts of my life right now. Um, so that's really how I cope with it. And I find stress, you'll notice when I'm stressed when I start to like get angry or like upset. Like I cry about it a lot, which I know is
Agitated.
like hormones or like being too emotional, but I find that stuff becomes really important to me. And I only get stressed about stuff that's important.
and I get it 100%. Uh ladies, our guests who are on right now, Aisha and also Lori, have y'all noticed any stress within your kids? And if you have, what are some of the like key signs? Because as Amaya discussed, some of her fidgeting, her getting mad, frustrated. Have y'all noticed any signs that will kind of give you an idea? Okay, maybe my kid is stressed.
Well, for me, I don't know if it's because of a boy or girl or whatever. Like, I can't really, like, he doesn't talk to me about that type of stuff, like stuff that stresses him out or whatever. So, what I noticed is I can tell when something, I don't know if it's stress, but when something is bothering him or he's mad about something, I can always tell just from his, I don't even the look, even just like a look on his face or his
Hmm.
reaction to me when I ask a question. He's real short or real like attitude-ish and all of that stuff. And so when I'm like, "Hey, what's wrong?" Nothing. Nothing. And
Right.
I'm like, you know what I'm saying? So I would never, and so then if I keep pressing him about it, it gets worse. So I just leave it
Mm-hmm.
alone. And if he feels like he wants to talk to me about it, he will, but he never honestly really does. So for me, he don't communicate like that, so I have no idea
And
when he's stressed.
that's how I kind of handle stress as a young man as
Mm-hmm.
well. So
Yeah.
those signs are familiar, very familiar. I was the same way. I just would. hold it in. If I was stressed, I'd find things that activities that will relieve that stress, like go play basketball, or
Mhm.
do something, play a game or something, do something that will kind of get my mind off of it and deal with it as it came. But yeah, as a young man, I get that. What about you, man?
I think I've noticed in time, um, with the girls when they're stressed, I'll ask them, hey, what's going on? Are you okay? And they'll say, yeah. But once again, like T. Lord said, you can tell in their voice or their tone, demeanor, how they respond to you that there is something going on. And I used to press, tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me. And I would never get it. I just would never get the
Right.
answer. So
Yeah.
now I don't press. I basically I will ask, "Hey, you okay?" And they'll be like, we got our youngest one. She's going through hormones and a lot of stuff, and she'll just be like, "Mm-hmm," and then I'm gonna leave it alone because if you want to talk to me, they know the floor is open. They can come and speak to me about anything at any time. We can have a conversation about it. So I don't press anymore. I've just learned to let things be and let them go through their emotions, but just let them know I am an outlet if you want to speak to me.
Maya, have you
Mhm.
noticed any signs of stress in maybe your siblings, your sisters or friends that stand out to you, or
Yeah.
signs of stress within your parents that stand out to you? And if so, share.
Mainly Sinai, when she gets stressed, she is like me. She'll get angry and she'll shut down. Or it's either she'll shut down or she'll lash out. And sometimes I'll go right back at her because you're throwing off my mood. That's not nice. But recently, I've learned to know when that anger is directed at me because I did something or she's mad at me for some reason, and when it's not directed at me and she's just taking it out on me because I'm there.
So something internal, and
Yeah.
she's just kind of.
She's trying to regulate that because as girls, we all went through that phase where you don't know what's going on. You don't really know why you're angry. You're just angry. And someone's right there and boom, they've caught a fade.
Let me say this. I will say this that since I've recognized with all the girls in the house that, like Maya said, we all have these emotions, and we don't sometimes we don't know what's going on ourselves. Like, why are we upset today? Like, I do know that I have implemented in the family to say, hey, I'm having a bad day. So everybody will know in the house that this ain't for you, but you can get it if you keep coming. You know what I'm saying? But it's not for you. So hey, I'm just having today is I'm not feeling good today. I'm having a bad day. That's I announce that to everybody. Even as a 48-year-old female, I have to still say, hey, I'm having a bad day. Yes, I get stressed just like everyone else, and I've learned how to manage my stress. But sometimes, um, it's just something internal, and I have to just say, hey, look, having a bad day. Everybody know in the house, this it's not for you, but just leave me alone.
Yeah, you've told me that a lot.
Yeah,
uh,
I mean, it's
and
only
I
it's only
appreciate it.
right though, right?
Yeah,
Right.
I
Versus lashing at you for no reason. You've done nothing to get that.
yeah, because there's certain things
So
that we deal with as individuals that could stress you, or certain things that may have happened within your day, whether it's your work day, whether it's your personal life, um, whether it's any kind of health issue, anything. So certain things that we do deal with, on a personal note, that can cause that stress, and then you may seem like the world is crumbling. And I'm gonna tell you, I greatly appreciate when you tell me, "Hey, this is not for you." Um, I think it helps me out a lot, but still, in all, I hate to see any of you stress, because it brings a level of stress onto myself because I feel like I want to be able to fix it. I want to be able to be there. I want to be that rock for you. I want to be that shoulder that you need to cry on if you need that. But if you're not sharing with me, then I feel isolated. Um, but I still know that just as well as you do, and our girls deal with stress. I deal with stress, and I do the same thing. Sometimes I just it's not for y'all. Sometimes it's just me going through, like they say, life be life, and so sometimes it's me going through whatever I'm going through. But once again, as a young man, as a young boy or a teenager, my parents were never one to come to me and say, "Are you stressed?" The word anxiety did not exist as a kid. So I handle it how I handle it. I think over time, I found ways to deal with my own stress, but that doesn't mean that it's eliminated, it's gone. Um, one of the tips that I would give up to the parents out there and that I've adapted myself is to realize this too shall pass. Um, because sometimes we can hold things on our shoulders, carry that weight around, and that weight does nothing but weigh us down. It's a mindset that we've developed when we come, into the stress thing to where that weight and that inner, talk or words, whatever we have with ourself, we tend to be our worst critic. We tend to beat ourselves up. And it's important to know that it's you carrying that weight personally. So as I got older, I had to realize, and it did come with some therapy, can't lie with that. It did come with some parenting and learning and seeing um, my family around me, but what it is that I needed to do for me. And sometimes
I
I
can
just
say
needed
that.
to drop that weight off my shoulders because I was carrying it. So, just a tip for the parents out there: if you feel like you're carrying something, sometimes you got to drop it like water off a duck's back, just let it roll off. Understand this too shall pass. Nothing is permanent, it's temporary. The feelings that you're having are temporary. Keep pushing forward and find things that, could help you de stress and
Hmm.
not just pile things on your shoulders. Remember, you're carrying it. What were some of the things that we tried as a family, Amaya, and this is to you, that you felt that just did not work for you?
Um,
Or that
now
did
this is
work.
gonna sound crazy, but talking it out.
Talking it out.
Okay.
Because I find it I find I like to shut down and then go by myself and work it out myself. And I know that's not the way to do it because as a psychology major, you're taught you need to talk about your feelings. You need to talk to someone, anyone. It could be a stuffed animal, but that doesn't work for me, unfortunately.
So, and that's one of the things, one of the reasons why I say therapy has worked for me because depending on the person that I'm talking to, right? When I say therapy, I've
Mhm.
had different therapists. Not all of them work for me. I've had different outlets. Not all of them work for me. So you have to pick and choose as well, parents, as well as your kids. Because just like she said, sometimes talking it out doesn't work. And it could be because she's talking to her parents or friends or someone where it's not working, right? But getting it out does help. I've developed a habit. Once I reached my like early to mid 30s, where I was talking directly to a mirror, I was talking directly to myself, asking myself those questions because even though I had a support group around me, I didn't feel like they would understand either. But I knew I had to get it off my chest. I knew I had to at least address the issue, no matter what it was. And I felt that within confidence and with um, just knowing that it was also between me and me, some of those things that I discussed in the mirror, I had to find clarity. So keeping it in doesn't always help, but
Yeah.
talking it out to certain people, be mindful of who you speak it to. Um,
Mhm.
any tips from our guests on the line of ways to, maybe handle stress a little bit better for the new parents out there, or parents that are seasoned? Any tips that you guys have?
To be
um,
honest, I need the tips.
you
That's
need to
good. That's
what?
why I'm glad you're here.
I
This is
said I
good.
need the tips. And look,
Yes.
I'm 18 years in and I still don't know. I just,
Instructions not
like I
included.
said, it's harder. It's harder with him because he don't talk. So I get
Mhm.
frustrated with that, and then I'll end up blowing up or shutting down or whatever and going about my way. And I I usually take the thing like, well, figure it out then. Like you grown, like you know what I mean. That
Right.
ain't
Yeah.
that might
Yeah.
not be the right thing, but it's like, what do you do when they don't talk? And so I just go ahead and let it go. Like y'all, I let it go. And if it's important enough, bad enough, whatever, it should come back around. That's how I do it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, a lot of people say that um I don't know the word, but I'll be like, oh well, like okay. My friend Kanita, she called me mean. I don't think it's mean, but I just say I'm offering or I'm here to talk. If you don't talk, I ain't gonna beg you. Okay, figure it out. Bye. I mean, you know what I'm saying? What else am I gonna do? So that's how I handle it, and I just pray that everything work out.
It will.
That's how I,
That's what
It
my
will. It
dad would
all
say.
work
My dad
out.
would just say, "I'm gonna pray for you." I'm gonna pray. Um, anything from you, babe?
I just think that I know people choose not to talk. Like Amaya says, she will shut down and process it herself and then deal with it. But I do believe you people need to have an outlet to talk to someone or to know that someone is there to talk. Because y'all may not, my kids may not choose to talk to me, but I need you to talk to somebody with a sound head. Let me add that because that's important.
Mhm.
Because I mean, you go out here and talk to the wrong person, and then they'll have you more messed up than what you before you got there. So it's important to talk to someone that has some knowledge, in a situation and sound mind. You know, that's it for me.
So some quick possible talking points. Yeah, I mentioned the mirror for myself. I mentioned just removing the weight, off of my own shoulders. And also possibly, getting your child around someone that you trust that could maybe speak that positive light into them, or maybe that your child or your friend or whoever that could be dealing with this stress, just putting them in an environment where they do feel comfortable. Like you said, babe, it's you got to be careful with that too, because you don't
Yeah,
know
you
who's
do.
going to put certain words or certain thoughts in their head. However, um keeping it in and like they say, pressure bust pipes. Keeping it
Right.
in can be destructive. I know at a young age, I had several thoughts of suicide, couple attempts. Um, and when I attempted, and it did not, uh, I could say I did not succeed at that point.
Praise
My
God.
connection, my connection with
Amen.
God had me realize that there was a reason for me to still be here. That reason could be my family, could be my girls, it could be this podcast, it could be your family out there, the viewer, the listener. I don't know why the attempt wasn't successful. All I know that it wasn't. All I know that I'm still here, and there's a reason for it. So I embrace that reason, but I do encourage, having your kids at least talk it out with someone without any judgment, and getting them somewhere around someone, a group or something that is, I know they say, well, you want to take your kids to some type of therapy, but I do think when you mention stuff like, well, I'm going to take you to a therapist, first thing that they think is they're crazy or I don't need nobody to talk to. The same things that we thought, as kids, young adults, I don't need nobody to talk to. And the truth of the matter is that we all need someone that we can talk to that does not place judgment on you, someone that does not, um, look at you any different in any kind of way after you talk, but someone who can
Right.
also offer some type of advice. It used to be in the church setting. Uh, used to be. I grew up in the church, from the church
Yeah.
to the hall, with Jehovah's Witness with my grandmother. I've attempted throughout my travels of the world, even when I was in Japan, to talk to people that I felt would be able to give me some insight. And not all the time did it go well. Some of the times it went off as, you start hearing it from other people, gossip. It didn't go into the gospel. It wasn't just an all men's meeting. It went from an all men's meeting to my info being spreaded throughout the congregation.
Mm.
Um, so you have to be sure of who you speak to,
Right.
but I would recommend not, you know, keeping it all balled up because pressure does bust pipes. That is true.
And to piggyback on that, I was going to say, um, it doesn't always have to be a professional person,
Right.
with,
Right.
therapists, because when you get with a group of people that you trust, like your girlfriend group or your guy, but your family, whatever it is, that can be also a good therapy session, if you will. Like, just I have some girlfriends, or some, it's not always girlfriends. It's a group of people. We get together. We used to call it Friday nights, and we would come together on Fridays, and we'll start social. Of course, drinking and music and blah blah blah. And then one time, whatever the subject came up, and it got super deep, and like everybody was just sharing and this and that, and everybody benefited from it so much that it was like not every Friday, but maybe every other Friday, or depending on how the night
Hmm.
flowed or whatever, y- we would end up in these conversations, and sometimes it would be tears, it would be all kinds of stuff. And so that's another way, like I think Maya even said, just talk it out. And when you talk it out, you get other people's experiences. And one of our girlfriends is a therapist. And so she would, bring in her professional side of it, like when we would be kind of getting, out of hand with it, she would have to put on her therapist hat and bring us back in, so that's also good. But then for two, that's for people who have, I mean, not to say it's only for people, but that's as older people. So for younger people, I don't know, Maya, maybe you can speak to this. Do you guys, you and your friends at your age, do that type of thing?
Yeah, I would say so. We talk about a lot of stuff, but they call it quote unquote trauma dumping. That happens a lot. I will say
Oh,
my friends
Why
have
the word
lived
trauma dumping though?
right.
because
That's what
my
it
I
is.
have friends who have gone through trauma and they just need to
Gotcha.
Dump it.
yeah.
Get rid of it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I like it.
I guess that's like the same thing that we do. It's just we don't call it that.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Yeah. I got you. Right.
And also, I also recommend, like we were saying before, finding some healthy distractions. Some art, music, sports. Like I said, I used to go play basketball, or I, you know, find something that would distract me from it. But once again, that's only temporary as well.
What is that movie?
So, but some of those things can relieve some stress. It can allow you to take your mind off of things, accomplish some other things. So, excuse me, it's definitely something that I recommend. Um, what's some of your favorite ways? I know you spoke of a few of them, but I'm gonna go throughout. I'm gonna start with my end and go through out everybody on the live today. What are some of your favorite ways to relax when you're stressed now? What do you do?
I like solitude,
Okay.
being like completely by myself. I love watching YouTube.
Oh my
I
God.
love to watch a
That
good
seems
YouTube
stressful.
video. I love to watch a good like hour long YouTube video. And I do love to listen to music.
When you say YouTube videos, there's so much on YouTube. What are some of the things that you
Yo,
like to
I
watch?
prefer there's one podcast, it's called Smosh Mouth.
Okay.
I
no.
or like a good horror game.
A good
Horror game.
horror game. Oh, like a game where you're
Yeah.
watching them play
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it because it's
Oh no.
scary or is it because it's
No.
it's funny?
It gives me a sense of
Different.
adrenaline without having to play the game.
Gotcha. Okay.
I
Okay.
don't get that part right there. But
Yeah.
anywho.
Me
But
either, because I'm a
anywho.
gamer.
That's the
I'm
best
a
way
Me
I can
either.
describe it. I don't know. I don't like to play games unless it's The Sims. Sims has me in a 3-year long chokehold, but um I don't know. I don't like to play games, but I'll watch somebody play a game. I guess it's because I can watch like 3 different games in one sitting and feel like I played 3 games.
Okay. Well, I'm just glad that you found an outlet. So I'm not here to judge on your outlet. I'm glad that you found one and continue to develop those that kind of relieves that stress. One of my other outlets for me, and you guys, you ladies know, is an audiobook.
Yeah.
I'm quick to put on an audiobook, whether I'm riding or whether I just
Yeah.
want to get a positive message instead of watching TV, in my own silence or whatever, throw my earbuds in, throw on a real good positive audiobook and get a message from there. So whatever helps you. So ladies, starting with we'll start with Aisha. What are some of the um what are some of the stressors you have? And before you answer, let me add
You mean
mom into the
de-stressors?
green room. I'm gonna add one more to the green room.
I'm
This is
screaming.
You
going
mean
to be
de-stressors,
this is
babe?
oh there we go.
Hey,
Welcome to the
hey,
live
mama.
Jacqueline!
Hey,
nice.
Grandma.
We are right now going over a few
Yes,
questions
Grandma
of
Jackie.
some of the stressors that
Hey!
Period. Say hey.
right now we're going over I asked Amaya and I'm now asking uh, everybody in the live. Aisha's next. What are some of the your favorite ways to relax when you're stressed now?
So over these years,
I
I
can't
have
say it.
accumulated.
Go ahead.
Over these years, I have accumulated a multitude. So I'm gonna start with um,
Lord.
some of the things that I like currently. It's nice outside, so I love to be outside and listening to my favorite shows, catching up on that, just to
Yeah.
get the breeze. It makes it just really is so calming for me. So I love to be outside. The other thing I would say is I love Instagram. Mine is Instagram. I could like be on Instagram all day. I love all the cookie recipes. And then my newfound favorite is baking sourdough bread. I am obsessed. It's something about touching the dough. It's a de-stressor for me. It calms me. I don't know, all of that. Like I'll go in and bake some bread. It makes me happy. So I
And
won't always
I
eat it.
I'm thankful.
I'm thankful for Scarlett because she'll be like, "You got
Thank you.
some sourdough?" I'm like, "Yeah." So she helps
You
Yes.
me.
said Scarlet.
Yes, she loves it.
Uh-huh.
She loves sourdough. So I'm so thankful. I'm gonna bake her a loaf though. After my 10 day, I'm detoxing currently 10 days. So after this 10-day detox, I'm gonna bake her a whole loaf.
I love the sourdough
Mm.
But
too.
go ahead.
Yes. So go ahead, T Lori. What are some of the things that some of the ways you like to relax when you're stressed now?
Well, the one thing is not a relaxation, but it helps with stress is working out. So I used to do it a lot, like almost every day, a couple times a day, but I have
Hmm.
I like to watch TV. I got shows I like to watch and I'll just block out everything and watch these shows. And recently, well not recently, but I also like to play you how you get certain games on your phone that you play. So, back in the day it used to be like Candy Crush or blah blah blah, whatever. So
Hmm.
now I'm into like this crossword app game that every day, it's new puzzles and you got to solve them. So it's relaxing and it still keeps your brain, active
Yeah,
because it makes you
that's
think.
good.
So that's what I'm doing lately. Claude, you
Nice.
don't
That sounds
draw,
awesome.
you don't draw anymore.
I do.
Oh, me?
I do
Oh,
draw every
Claude.
now and then. Not like I used to. Uh, so I haven't drawn like any portraits or anything. I've been for the most part, I've been drawing on my tablet. So it's a little bit
oh,
different than, of course, pencil and paper.
right.
Um,
Because
yeah. So I have.
So
technology
now
is,
I got that
gives you
bug.
other options.
Yeah.
So now I got that though. She can draw really well.
Yes, I love
Okay, good.
yes, Sanaa draws well. I love to see when she, puts something together as well as Scarlett. Scarlett is amazing too.
Oh,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Um,
I
You
Scarlett
know,
see
too.
you
some
know you
Scarlet's
all got
good.
that from grandmother, right?
yes,
What you
Barbara
say,
yes,
used to
Mama?
draw all the time.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
mine
I
didn't.
didn't know that.
I didn't get that trait. Robbie got it. I didn't get it.
I didn't either. I didn't either. I can draw stick figures.
Mhm. I can barely do that.
So, Mom, well, since you've
Ooh.
joined us, what are some of the things that you do to kind of help you relieve stress now? And before you answer, we are live. We are
I know.
streaming live on Facebook. We're streaming live on
Not
two
gonna
different
say anything
platforms.
crazy.
YouTube.
So I just wanted to let you know. I mean, we're all on YouTube, streaming live on
And it is
a couple
being
different
recorded.
platforms, and it's also being
I got
recorded. There
you.
won't be much editing, but just wanted to pick your mind and see
Y'all
what
know
some
me
of the
so well.
favorite ways. Well, you're my mom, so
Well, I like to color.
okay.
Y'all know that.
Um,
Yes.
Then
Hmm. Yeah.
watch TV and I play jigsaw. I do jigsaw puzzles on the phone. Just play different games.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at not stressing myself out about
But
anything
all of
really.
yeah, all of that is good too, that we've all said to keep us going day to day. You know what I'm saying? Some people may think, I know Claude don't really watch TV, so sometimes he sees me watching TV and he's like, "Why are you watching all that TV?" I'm like, "Because this is what calms me." And I think he's learned that over the years. Like, this is my downtime. This is what I like to do. So I think it's good that we all have things that we can um, go to relieve stress that's not harmful to
Mhm.
anyone.
Right. And
Right.
I'm not against watching TV. I think that can be a stress reliever in some cases. Um it just depends on what you're watching. And that's the same thing with social media when you're on YouTube and Instagram. You could be on there watching something that makes you laugh, could be a great stress reliever. But I mean, just say if you're on X or formerly known as Twitter and you're scrolling through there just as well as Instagram. I don't know how they filter things as much as well as TikTok. But you could stumble across something where people are um, given negative, um,
Definitely.
whether it's talk or whether it is visuals like fighting or people, getting killed and people getting, just stuff that could bring you down versus lift you up. And
Well, I don't
TV is
watch
the same.
that.
You can be
I
watching
don't watch
TV,
that.
and before you know it, whether it's a commercial that comes on or whether it's a show, whether it's reality TV that's not really reality, it's not
Mhm.
real, but certain things that happen with, on the TV could hit you in a certain way too. So I'm not against TV or any of the social media outlets. I just think when it comes to stress and anxiety, it's very important to know what you're putting into your system. That's all.
True,
That's
true,
just how I
true.
see it. But since mom has joined us, and I'm glad that you joined us because I mentioned this earlier in the live, and I want you to be um, a witness to this. As I was growing up, was this a conversation that we had as far as stress, anxiety? Was that something that parents talked about during that time?
No, back in the 70s, nah, you know, didn't have you wasn't dealing with that kind of stuff. We needed, things to help us back then in the 70s and 80s while y'all were growing up, but we didn't have, access really to, those kind of things.
So, to our viewers, as I said, it's not something that was normally talked about. But as
Right.
parents, as like I said, either first time parents, seasoned parents, I encourage you to talk to your kids about it. I do encourage you to reach out, look into whatever you can, because we have so much information in our day and age that can help us. And it is something that should be discussed, not always easy to discuss. As Amaya said, sometimes, just talking it out was one of the things she did not want to do. And that's some of the things that it's hard for us to do, but it's important to do. Um, like I said, when you keep it in, it could turn into something, worse. And for me, it
Yeah.
was it was a suicidal tendency. It was homicidal tendency. There was several people that I
Wow.
had in my mind that I wanted to hurt. Um,
Oh,
it was
I
time.
wasn't one.
No, it was times that I wanted to give up. Um, and it took a lot over time to admit to myself that I was having my own issues, you know. And the things that I was mostly afraid of is that especially as I had kids, that if I did give up, how would they look at me? So suck ass nigga, gonna bring me into this world and then jump out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really was like, how could I? Why would I? When I have so much to live for. So I think it's very important to talk to your kids about it. Uh, However you can, get them in an environment to where they are they are um able to talk to somebody that they trust. Let's just make sure your mom is, because I know she's answering the phone. I think she
I can
muted.
hear her.
Okay, good, good. She muted already. She's handling business. Um, what's one thing you wish that more parents understood about uh kids and anxiety? What was something
Mm,
that you wish that we understood?
mm.
If anything comes to mind.
The only way that I can think about it, and now I'm coming at have big feelings
Mm,
that kids, because a kid is throwing a tantrum, that they're just doing it to because just to do it. But in reality, it's this child is, let's say, 4 years old. They can't regulate that their feelings are so big they can't express that. So you have to teach your children to express that in a way that won't harm them, you know? You have to teach kids who are upset about going to bed by themselves that there is nothing coming to get you. We are not going to let anything hurt you. Make a deal with them like I have done on certain occasions.
Look,
It has worked.
mhm.
I
you
will
have
say that.
done like excellent with that.
That
So
sound a little personal. That sound a little personal.
I was,
it is a bit personal. It is a bit personal, but
Yeah.
that is okay.
it is a
Um,
bit.
just a lot of people have this idea that kids are just going around and just because they are so young that they can't experience big feelings like anxiety, especially when they're handicapped or special needs. I hear a lot about special needs children not knowing, or like I was having a conversation with a friend and we were talking about Down syndrome. She was talking about how this guy, grown man, came up to her and was hugging her and her roommates and was just saying that they were so pretty. You have to teach kids that although he was mentally handicapped, he can't do that. There is another way to express yourself. But on the flip side, when they're having negative feelings,
Mhm.
that there are also things you can't lash out. You can't hit people just because you're upset, you know? So that's one thing I wish was it is becoming normalized, but I wish it was normalized sooner than now, if that makes sense.
Oh, what did not happen before, like even when I was growing up. Um, I mean, it is what it is, but we leave those things there. But there's no time like the present
Yeah.
to address that, especially with our kids, our youth. Um, and like you said, even at age 4, even prior to that, when they're infants,
Yeah.
they cry because uh, either they're trying to tell you something and they don't have the words to say it just yet. Um, they're experiencing something that they want to bring some attention to. And for all the new parents out there who have these infants, these babies, these toddlers, know that those tantrums that they may be having is just because they don't have the words just yet. But
Right.
find ways to listen to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Find
I'm
ways
gonna
to
say that
talk to them.
I'm gonna say that growing up, I was pretty much told that we didn't have feelings. Period.
Wow.
We didn't have feelings,
You
and we
too
didn't
young to
have
feel
headaches.
anything. You too
Yeah.
young to have
You
a
too young
Yeah.
to feel
yeah,
anything. Your head
yeah,
ain't hurting. You too young for that. That's what we were
yeah.
told. So when I had kids, I was on the same. Once again, instructions not included. When they popped out, instructions didn't pop out behind them, so or in front of them. So
For real.
I mean, I had to learn that, oh, my kids, her head is hurting, or so I had to be. That was a learned behavior for me. That was nothing that as a kid that I was catered. So raising you girls, it would I had to mentally change a lot of my thought process on things like that. So that's been tough, and I work with the mentally challenged group of young women and sometimes young men, and we did have to like correct them when they wanted to touch people, or hit people if they wanted to be aggressive. We had to correct them and say, no. So in all of that, I learned how to be a better parent. Not the, I still have flaws, but in learning those skills of helping them, I learned a little bit better how to help you all, but it still wasn't perfect because it was still different when it was my own children, right?
Right.
So I agree with you, Amaya. I think that's something that needs to be taught as a little kid. Like your negotiation with Sky was amazing. I literally turned in when I heard you negotiating. I was like, she got this. You saw I walked out of the room. I was like, this is priceless. What's going on in that room? She got it.
Yeah. Well, it
So
was something she wanted, and then I wanted her to do something I wanted, so we might as well
yeah, the
compromise.
bargaining system. Right. Right. It's bargain.
I'm so proud of my family,
I
especially
was
my
like, oh,
granddaughter.
ecstatic. Amazing.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's a learning curve of how this generation or whatever deals with stuff, because like you were saying before, back in our day, it wasn't no negotiating, wasn't no talking about it. It was do what I say do. Period.
Mhm.
That's
So
it.
now
Right
it's an
now,
adjustment.
right now,
Yeah.
and I
So
don't want
right
no
now,
lip.
and I mean, that's how it is. So it's an adjustment to adjust to this generation, how they handle things, because who I don't want. I mean, to be honest, a certain in a, you in a certain situation, I don't want to hear what you thinking. I said this, and
Right.
so because I'm the parent, and whatever. And now we are dealing with young adults, and and so technically, I mean, he still is my child, but he grown, and
Right.
so now that's a whole different thing you got to deal with. That's another adjustment. Okay, because now he's grown, but he is still under my roof. I still take care of him, but da da da. Da. It's all of this stuff. So it's
Yeah.
always going through different stages. And so, Jackie, for you, you got grown ass kids. So it's just
Yes.
like, you know what I'm
And they
saying? Like,
old
so
too.
I'm sure those are still your babies, but these is grown ass men with
Oh
their own
yeah.
families and grandkids and blah blah blah. And so it's just like it's always something, because it's you go through phases of your life, and it's always an adjustment, and you got to always learn how to deal with your people in certain different ways. And then the society changes, and so when then it's the society kind of puts rules on you, kind of like, because now back in the day you could whip your kids and blah blah blah. Now, oh, it's taboo to whip your kids, and now you got to do it. So it's just like it's too much.
Oh, you got to wait
Too
till.
much.
I will.
Too
Let me
much.
say this. I will say that I kind of like this. What's going on now, though? I know some things is a lot in their generation, but I'm liking a lot of what's going on because it's almost like, in my point of view, I see them humanizing people. Like people are people, right?
Mhm.
Because back in our
Right.
day, you would just push aside, shut the f
Yeah.
up, and let's keep going, right?
Right.
Um,
Right.
Mhm.
so I think now it's like, okay, I want to hear your perspective, like, and we got different stages. We have 13, 18, and 26. So we're getting it from all different aspects of, you know, as parents. Claude and I are getting it. We're like, whoa, some of the stuff, but we're like,
Right.
okay, keep living. Just keep living. You
Keep
know what I'm
living.
saying? Like, if you're blessed to keep living, then do that. And then come back and talk to me in about 10 years. And then we'll see what's up.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Especially if you have
Right.
kids and you see your kids
Right.
going through certain things. Come back and talk to me in about 10 years and see if you still feel the same way
Right.
you feel today.
And let's talk about it. So it's a lot. I do like it because I am learning and growing with just everything from, you know, I won't go into detail because I know this is, but just a lot of things that Ayana has taught me, Amaya has taught me, Sanaa has taught me. Sometimes I'm amazed. I'm like, wow. And then what we can learn from the computer, the World Wide Web still, like all of the education, all of the information is just, it's amazing. So I'm liking it. We'll see how things go.
Yes. And
Well,
speaking of that,
I'm learning from all of you all. I don't have any little people around me anymore, but I'm still learning from you guys and able to listen to Amaya whenever I can because they don't call me. But anyway,
God, everybody got
I
business.
learned from you all listening to you guys on certain
That's
things,
cool.
that I was clueless with growing up, clueless about a lot of things when I was raising Claude and Tony.
I'm going out the room.
So
Okay.
I'm still trying to learn. Now I'm trying to learn how to, uh, handle grown up
I'm
issues
still on here.
with
I'm still
children.
live.
yeah, we are
But
too.
I'm still learning.
Yeah, thank you. And we all are learning. And for the listeners, I invite our listeners to share your own coping strategies, maybe even any questions that you may have. I like to say that instructions not included is a safe space, but to be 100% transparent and honest with you, nothing online is truly a safe space. You'll have your
Right.
trolls, you'll have your people who want to come in
Right.
and put in comments or say negative things. That's part of what we deal with social
Social media.
media, with
Hmm.
shows like this being online and people wanting to hide behind their screens and put in their own opinions. I encourage
With
you
their fake
to,
names.
yeah, yeah, you'll have people who make up fake profiles just to annoy you or um to bash you or those on the panel. And I highly encourage those on the panel or those who are involved in what we do to take all of that as a grain of salt, and not let it filter you have to filter your own emotions, not let it get to you. um just understand that sometimes that's what you're going to deal with, especially even online, if you are one that posts different things on your own page, that you'll have people who are ignorant to the fact of you trying to help. But I do encourage the viewers, the listeners, if you have any coping strategies, skills, anything that you have used with your kids or anything that you feel has worked for you, to please add it to the comments. Join us on some of these lives. I welcome everyone from all walks of life, to whether you're in a heterosexual relationship, marriage, same sex. I don't care. We're not here to judge. We're just here to
Right.
get the best advice or whatever advice we can give to our future. And hopefully that our parents are able to use some of this advice to help them and progress, their whatever situation they may be in. As you see at the title, and we mention it a lot, instructions not included. There aren't any instructions. I said in the beginning, my disclaimer, that we are not professionals, but we are
Right.
humans. We are parents. We are real people. So I do encourage you to come on and share. This is not to be um your quote unquote like Jerry Springer type stuff. We're not here for all your, putting people on blast and personal stuff that you may be going through. That's not what we're here for. But we are here to provide some type of assistance in a way of, advice from parents. So if you found this conversation helpful in any way, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell as well so you can know when we are going live and you can, be a part of it as well. The main
I
thing is
don't
not
see
to miss an episode. We want to make sure that you don't miss an episode. You can also check us out on YouTube at Sweetface Scans, or you can check us out on YouTube at I dot parenting podcast and join in the next week's show. Next week's show, we're talking about the power of play, stimulating learning through playtime. One of the things that I thoroughly enjoyed as parenting, watching our kids grow up. Um, I remember when
grandkids.
when Mimi and our and grandbaby, but I remember when you was a baby and in the beginning I put on Your Baby Could Read, and
Oh
I
yeah.
thought that you would just lock into that.
No.
But
I thought for sure you were gonna say Hip Hop Harry. I'm not gonna lie.
but Hip Hop Harry was your thing. You dance with him, and
It
but I
was
put
your
on
thing.
different things that that I thought that would help. But you are a great reader. As of
Yeah.
today, you love to
I
read.
do enjoy reading. Yes, I do
Do
enjoy reading.
enjoy
So
reading.
yeah, I do too. I love
Me,
to read.
I struggled with reading as a
Okay.
kid, so I'm thankful that you have, you know, gravitated towards picking up a book.
Yeah.
To this day, I'm not a big reader, y'all. I'm really not.
I love an audio book.
But I gets those audio books in. I tell you, I would listen to an audio book and absorb it, and I would listen to it more than once.
Yeah, he
I think
does.
my highest ranking of one particular audio book, I'm at 17.
You got enough time.
17 complete times of listening to this one audio book, because the first 15 times I listened to it, I just wasn't getting it. I wasn't getting it. And that could be my own learning curve.
Yeah.
And 17 is a lot. Look, that's not something to brag about. I'm just letting you know as the listener, that it don't matter if you got to go over it over and over. What matters is that you eventually get the message, you know.
Sometimes when I'm reading, I'll read like a paragraph and then I have to read it over because I realized I didn't like nothing
And click,
computed
then compute.
at all what I read.
That's
It was
next
just
week,
like,
y'all.
Huh?
Y'all giving that's next week. Y'all giving a little snippet of next week.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're just
oh
giving a
yeah,
little
I won't be
snippet of
here
next
next
week.
week. Well,
Yeah.
not in this seat.
Not in this
Yeah.
seat. Will you be producing the next week's show?
Yeah, I don't have anything else to do.
See?
Why not?
Oh, she got
Because
stuff
she
to
is
do.
our
She
executive
got stuff to
producer, so
do.
she's supposed to be producing the
But
show.
no, she'll be at work, so she'll
Oh,
be producing.
Yeah.
Yeah, she got stuff
Yeah.
to do. She
She's the
normally
executive.
handles the boards, and
Yeah.
she
That's my
is
job.
our executive
I'm normally in
producer.
that seat.
don't go
Yes.
across
Yeah.
that
I don't know
street.
why mom didn't just, well, I do know, but
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
wanted
the
you
would
show
have
is
been
for
producing.
you and
preferable.
Dad, not me.
Yeah. But I'm thankful to have you. So thank you for joining us here
You're
in the
welcome.
seat today and not behind the boards. And as we grow our team and
No,
we add more to the production
no,
team as well,
no, squirrels and
things
got
will
in this
flow
glass
a
of
lot
bird
smoother, you
on the
guys.
board.
Things will flow a lot
Knock
smoother.
it
I'm
off.
looking forward to it, adding the team and being able to uh have multiple guests in and also live comments popping up. So for everybody who has joined us and we're able to see the beginning stages, thank you. It is greatly
We thank y'all so
appreciated. We're
much.
going to get the day going. And before we close out, I just want to ask of everyone before we close out this session, is there anything that you want to leave, you know, to our guests, our listeners, our new parents? Is there any type of advice or, just giving your last words? Anything?
Mom, you want to go first? Or you have something you can say? Okay,
No,
I'm gonna say you for all of our new parents, no, it won't be easy. But yes, you can do it. One foot in front of the other, one day at a time. You got this. You're not alone in this journey. We're here to help. So just remember that and continue on.
Continue on. Love it. Love it. Love it. Anything you want to give them before we leave out, Amaya? Anything you want to give to our parents?
What's going on?
Mimi?
What's going on the screen? Fix that,
Uh,
please.
It looks fine on this end.
can't switch profiles. Oh, that's just something from when I hit that. But go
Oh,
ahead. Yeah, you're
okay.
good. You're good,
I
Mimi.
would I would say, as someone who's not a parent but has been a kid, um
We all
I would
have.
say, if anything, just listen. Make your kids feel heard, understood. There's nothing worse than saying something to someone and them just being like, "Well, I said so." You're not helping.
Mm.
It's not helping. So,
yeah, I used to do that.
one thing that I've learned having Aurora here,
Me too.
because that's the only kid I'm really close to,
Get off there.
is that listening can take you a long way. Listening and then actively finding a solution to the problem that will benefit everyone. Now, you can't always benefit everyone because that's like impossible, but um you know, you're going to try your best in everything you do, but really, and help that child feel like, you know what, I can trust this person in helping to solve my problems, because that's a big thing children need, is to be able to trust someone to help, you know.
Agreed 100%. Well, 99.9%. I will say this, parents, there is times where if immediate action is required and you know something that that child does not, you tell that child to do something. Sometimes there isn't time for a reason why. Sometimes it is time when it says, hey, I need you to do this because I said so. There's a reason for that as well. Okay. Um, and it may not be until you become a parent or dealing with, you know, kids that don't need all the information, but just need to know when to act or react to something. That's the time when it's it's needed.
Yeah.
There's a purpose for it. That's the time when that do as I say is very important and valid. Okay. But I understand
Yeah.
exactly where you're coming from. But sometimes
Yeah.
when you're saying get away from that, you don't want your kids saying, well, why do I have to get away from that? And then they shock the hell out of themselves. You know what I'm
Well,
saying? So at
yes,
certain times where it is
I
do what I say,
I also think that's important, but make sure that you go back and give the reason
that's where I was
once the
getting to
danger's out the
next.
way. Because the as I say so and then leaving it there will not help.
Exactly. And that's the part I come to next. Is it you sometimes it's important to explain it to them at a later time
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
why the
Completely.
urgency was there
Yeah.
for you to react, and then they'll get the full picture.
Yeah.
Once again, I want to thank everybody for joining us. Catch us on next week's show, The Power of Play, stimulating learning through playtime. We're going to end this session. Thank y'all.
Thank
Uh,
you.
Oh, you got something else before I?
No, this is just for you.
Okay. See y'all later. We're gonna go ahead and go to the ending of the show. We're gonna go ahead and I gotta remember how to do that. We were still setting all that up, but once again, you can contact us, and this will just bring that up on the screen real quick. Right there, Full Circle Friday. So stay tuned. All right. Peace.
Bye.